It's funny how when you choose you, you realize how many people in your life were never really choosing you, but using you. Using your presence, using your resources, using your time, using your generosity, using your kindness, using your advice, using you to fuel their own life. And when you ask for it in return, you need it too much.
When I realize that I'm the convenient friend and not the priority friend, I will literally stop showing up for you. You're the convenient friend if you're the one they always call on when their other plans fall through. When they always vent to you. They vent to you, but they never ask you if you're okay and how you're doing. They don't create the space for you to vent to them. And the minute you start to convince yourself that, oh, it's fine, I'm just gonna be a good friend, maybe they just need me. No. The minute you start to notice that you pour into people who don't do the same for you and you create space for people who don't create the space for you, it's time to retire being the convenient friend.
Every now and again, you need to test your friendships to see truly where you lie in people's life. I have for a time played a certain role in a particular friendship that I have. And in this friendship, I was like the therapist. This friend would come to me all the time and vent their problems, relationships, family relationship problems, just you name it, they vented to me about it. And at first, it was something that I didn't really think twice about. I'm their friend. Of course, I'm going to listen to them. Of course, I'm going to offer advice if they want it. But what I started to realize was that it wasn't reciprocal. When there were times where I wanted to vent or when things were going on in my life and I wanted someone to just listen to me, I realized that that person was not willing to hear what I had to say and would always turn the conversation back to them and their problems. Be wary of these people. They are just trying to use you for their own benefit, and they have no real desire to have the relationship be a give and take type of relationship. All they want to do is take from you and never give nothing to you. They want to take what you have in your cup and never pour back into you. Do not be around people where you're constantly filling their cup and then you're depleted and your cup is now empty because you've been pouring into them and they're not pouring back to you. Relationships, friendships, all of it should be a reciprocal exchange. It should be a give and take. It should be both people are pouring into each other, not a one-sided friendship or a one-sided relationship where you're the one always pouring into them and they are not doing the same for you.
It's funny how when you choose you, you realize how many people in your life were never really choosing you, but using you. Using your presence, using your resources, using your time, using your generosity, using your kindness, using your advice, using you to fuel their own life. And when you ask for it in return, you need it too much. When you ask the people who are supposed to love you and have your back and ride with you till the wheels fall off, to be the fuel that you have been for them, to give it back to you because you're running on E, they all of a sudden had enough with you. That's why no matter where you are in life, no matter what phase you are in, you have to operate in every situation and every relationship as though you are number one. Because if you don't choose you, no one will see the value in choosing you too.
You know when it clicked for me? When I stopped confusing being needed versus being valued. People will use you because they don't want to do the work. You're reliable. You pick up the phone. You're someone when things hit the fan, they can call on you and they need you because they're not willing to do the work. But being valued means, hey, they're going to respect your time. Hey, I'm going to pay you what you are worth. Being valued is, you know what? Let me create that boundary to her and let me show them that I appreciate them. So needed and valued, two separate things. And once you understand whether or not you are needed or valued, things will shift.
It's a no for me. It's just a simple no. No, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to hang out. No, I can't make it. No, no, no. It's just a no. And trust me, babe, they don't want you there anyways. Actually, they do want you there. They want you there because they still need a way to like nitpick you and have something to talk about when you leave. But really, they don't like you. And you know they don't. So why do you keep showing up? Always saying yes, always available, always there to help. Where are they when you need that? They're never around. So stop showing up. The answer is no. Trust me, you're going to see your mental draining that always happens every time you go around these people. It's going to stop happening to you. Why? Because you use the power of one word, no. The answer is no. There's power in that. There is a lot of power in that. So help yourself, help them, and remove yourself. It's easy. The answer is no.
One of the hardest things that I had to accept coming into my healing journey is that some people didn't like me. They just simply tolerated me. And at the time, I couldn't really name it, but it's just something that I felt in my spirit. You know, the overthinking, the tension, leaving a conversation feeling smaller and not seen. Being tolerated in friendship is not always obvious because it shows up in little ways. Like being good enough to call when they're falling apart, but not being good enough to be invited out when they're having fun. You're the one they vent to. You hold their emotions, their grief, their breakdown. But when it's time to go out, when it's time to celebrate, when it's time to have fun, you're left out. They might ask how you're doing, but they're not really listening. They quickly shift the conversation back to themselves. And just like that, you're holding space again without ever being seen. Being tolerated never feels mutual. What you give is not returned. You're constantly showing up for them, but it doesn't flow both ways. And over time, that kind of imbalance, it chips away at your spirit, even if you keep trying to justify it. But when someone genuinely likes you, it's different. There's reciprocity, there's care, there's presence. They don't just ask how you are, they actually want to know. They listen, they make you feel seen and heard. You don't feel like their go-to person when it's convenient. You feel genuinely cared for your energy, for your heart. And something powerful happens when you remove yourself from those dynamics, when you stop making yourself available for people who only come around when it benefits them. Your nervous system calms. You stop overanalyzing every interaction. You feel safe in your energy again. And that safety brings clarity about who you are and what you are no longer available for. You stop needing to be understood by people who were never capable of meeting you anyway. And you begin to remember how it feels to be connected without losing yourself in the process. I'm so grateful for what I have now because once you experience real reciprocity, once you're in friendships that pour into you, that encourage you, where you feel safe, where it's mutual, you will never go back. You will never go back to anything less than that. At some point, you have to stop showing up for people who will never show up for you in the same way. You deserve more than that.
Y'all want to know the 3 signs that you're in a one-sided friendship in your 20s? Your friends never, ever, ever hit you up. If you do not initiate contact, you never hear from people. It's actually a ghost town. Friendship should be mutual. So if you're like the only party, the only one of the friendship who's trying to keep it going, who's trying to communicate, who's trying to contact, and don't get me wrong, people get busy, people have lives, I understand that, but it doesn't take 10 seconds. Send a text message and say, hey, checking in, hope you're doing good. You can't even get that. When they do reach out to you, it's only when they need something. When they need money, when they need advice, when they need this, that, and the third. That's the only time you hear from them. When things are going good, oh, they're gone. Don't get me wrong. As friends, we're supposed to support each other. We're supposed to be there for each other. Love that. But when the only time I hear from you is when your life is in shambles or when you need something, I don't like that. The third sign is that when y'all do talk, they never, ever, ever ask you how you're doing. People will sit here and talk about themselves for hours. Just go on about their life. And you sit here like, cool, really? Whoa, wow. Give them the whole sound effects. They don't even have the common decency to be like, hey, how are you doing? How are things going in your life? What are you up to? And I think an honorable mention has to go for the folks who never, ever, ever invite you places. Now, they can invite their other friends to stuff. They could plan stuff with their other friends. And how you know? Because they post about it. They talk about it. Cool. And you just like, oh, really? Wow. When it comes to you, can't do this, they can't do that, blah, blah, blah. They just start motor mouthing away with excuses. And you're like, wow, this is how you really moving? Noted.
Here are a few ways to tell if your friend is using you. When they make plans with you, they only make plans with you when it's convenient for them. They never go out of their way to squeeze you in or to move things around in their schedule to make sure that they have time for you. It's only when it's convenient to them. Anytime that you do hang out, you never do things that you want to do, always things that they want to do. You'll notice that life only revolves around them and you only need to revolve around them too. They will never talk about you. They will never ask about you. They don't care about your problems. They will shut down your problems. They'll invalidate your feelings because they really don't want to hear it and they really don't care. But when it comes to their problems and their feelings, you have to be there. And if you do not listen to them, or you do not have the emotional capacity, or you tell them that you can't listen today because you've been dealing with too much, they will shut you down, and actually they will get very, very angry at you because you're not being a good friend. You'll also notice that they'll only miss you when they're lonely. They'll send you the infamous "I miss you" text, just like that F-boy does, to see if they still have a grip on you. And how do you know if they're only texting you because they're lonely? Because when you text back, you don't hear from them. They got their little validation, or their attention was gotten by somebody else that they have texted. Because just like the F-boy, he doesn't just text you "I miss you," he texts everybody else too. And the first one to catch the bait will get the attention. And friends do this too, especially friends that are using you. You'll also notice that you're only super important to them when you're less successful than them. And the moment your life goes up and you start growing and you start getting better things in your life, suddenly you guys will slow down with the hangouts. Suddenly they will stop reaching out to you as much. And suddenly the relationship fizzles out. That's because you are serving a purpose to them that you're no longer serving, which is they like to hang out with people that have worse lives than them so they can feel more superior. And once you have a better life, they will feel inferior and they don't like that feeling. And I'm going to end with this last one. You'll know when a friend was truly, truly using you the way they end the relationship. If you call them out on their behavior, or you're attempting to communicate with them because they hurt your feelings and you want to discuss that, they will ghost you. Because they're not in this relationship to take responsibility and accountability for their role that they played in the relationship and their actions and their behaviors towards you. They know exactly what they've been doing this whole time. They ghost you, they ignore all your texts, all your calls, all your attempts to communicate with them because it's easier. And because they were never in this friendship for the dynamic that you guys had, but what they were gaining from it. And once they realize that you're no longer a yes man, they will drop you to go find another yes man. I hope this helped, and as always, I love you all. Have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. Ta-ta!
I think one of the toughest pills to swallow in real time is when you sit back and you stop reaching out, you stop calling first, and you stop overextending yourself, and you quickly realize that the relationship that you thought was a fruitful bond was really one-sided all along. And that this person that you made the center of your life or an integral piece of your life did not have the same level of commitment to you as you had to them. And I honestly and truly believe that I am in the era in my life where I am not going to match people's energy, but I am going to strictly only give my energy to people that value it. There's no reason why I'm going above and beyond for you. I'm constantly communicating first. I'm constantly calling first. I'm constantly making an initiative for us to hang out, but there is no reciprocity when it comes to you repaying the favor. And if you ever mention these things to them, they'll constantly say that you're counting favors, you're trying to hold things over their head, or you're doing things with the wrong intent. However, if they understood the principle of these things and that it should be normal for you to reach out and check on your friend if they do the same thing to you, it would never be a disagreement in the first place because they would just get it. That's why I tell people all the time, you have to be able to discern who is emotionally intelligent enough to receive the type of love that you are capable of giving. And if they are not on that wavelength, then you need to deal with them accordingly. Not saying that you cannot associate with them, but you do not need to be putting them in a higher category of friendship, especially a best friend category, because they're not equated to that level of friendship with you. Their EQ is not there yet.
Why do boundaries make people uncomfortable? Let me give you 3 reasons why. Number 1, boundaries remove access. Some people are used to being able to call whoever they want, disrespect who they want, etc., and still have full access to them afterwards. Crazy, right? So when you finally start saying no and distancing yourself, it literally is going to force people to adjust. Not everybody likes to adjust. Number 2, boundaries will expose unhealthy dynamics. Because sometimes what people call you changed really means you stop tolerating things you used to be quiet about. And that makes people uncomfortable because a lot of them benefited from the old you. Number 3, a lot of people take boundaries personal. Instead of them hearing from their ear, I'm just protecting my peace, what they hear is you're being rejected. But healthy boundaries is not even a punishment. They're communication. The hardest part about maturing and realizing, like, people who respected your lack of boundaries the most usually struggle the hardest when you actually create some. So watch out for them. Save this post to send it to somebody who you think might need to hear this.
Nothing hurts more than realizing that you're not as important to your friend as you thought you were. You hold them in high regard. You let them into your space, all the big milestones in your life, when you're getting married, when you're having a kid, when you're graduating at school, when you've got a new job, they're the first person to know. And with them, it's just not the same. Like, you find out on social media that they're getting married, or that they're having a child, or that they got a new promotion at work. You just never know what's happening in their life the way that you let them in. It is so painful. But the older I become, the more I really don't take it personally, and I'm learning how to kind of be okay with where friends place me. And I'm also not petty about it. Like, if you, for example, if you're my friend and you don't let me know that you're getting married, and I hold you in high regard, I'm going to invite you to my wedding. But before, I used to take it very personal. I used to go, well, you didn't let me in on this, so I'm not going to let you in on that. And you didn't do this for me, and I'm not going to do that for you. And I've kind of accepted that sometimes my best friend, like your best friend, I'm your best friend, yeah, and that's also okay. I don't know if I'm making sense, but how do you navigate that? Let me know.